I'm calling to order the meeting of the Town of Arlington Redevelopment Board on Monday, the 26th at 7 p.m. held remotely. And can the board members call off their names as I say? Steve?
Steve Revelak, good evening.
Jean?
Eugene Benson.
Shayna?
Shayna Corman Houston.
Rachel?
Rachel Zenberry.
And we're meet by Claire from the planning board with Sarah and there was one other. Oh, Marissa.
Marissa Lau. Thank you, Ken.
From the planning department. Okay, so let's get to the agenda. The agenda number one is the public hearing docket number 3869, 1513 and through 1519 Mass Ave. Special permit hearing. It is continued to November 15th. Will the board vote to continue this docket to a future date?
So motion.
What date are we continuing it to?
December 15th.
No, sorry, that's, I'm just going to interject here. Yeah, it was continued from December 15th. We are looking to continue these hearings to an in-person meeting, potentially a week from today on February 2nd, if that's okay with the chair.
Yes. Do we have a quorum for that?
At this point, yes.
Okay, yes.
All right, so I move to continue that hearing to February 2nd, 2026.
I think Rachel moved.
That's fine. I'll second.
Okay.
Steve's motion.
All in favor? Steve?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
I'm a yes myself. Okay, hearing number two, public hearing docket 3882, 1398 Mass Ave, special permit hearing. The board will vote to continue the docket number 382 to a future date.
What's the date?
It would be the same date.
Same date.
February 2nd.
I move to continue that hearing until February 2nd, 2026.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Have a vote. Steve?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
I'm a yes myself. Hearing number three, public hearing docket number 3882, 840, 846 Mass Ave, 7 and 17 Newman Way, site plan review hearing. The board will vote to continue this docket for 3883 to a future date. I'm assuming it's February 2nd.
Yes.
I move to continue that matter to February 2nd, 2026.
Second.
I second.
Okay, care to vote? Steve?
Yes.
Shayna?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. That takes care of our three hearings. Now we're going to discuss and vote on the warrant articles for 2026 annual town meeting. Note that this vote and discussion on the warrant articles will not include public comment. We already had that in the previous meeting, and we will just be discussing and voting on it today. So let's call them up.
Great. Just give me a second and I'll get those warrant articles up here on these. Okay, can folks see that? Great.
Everybody good?
Yes.
Warrant Article A, zoning bylaw amendment, administrative clarification to accessory dwelling units. Essentially, it is I'm assuming it's a clerical change, and that's it, as we discussed last time. Are there any questions to what was modified? Is this with Gene's changes to it?
No, these are the warrant articles that were published with the agenda. I did share a document from Mr. Benson earlier this evening that has a series of edits to the document. I'm prepared to show that as well as part of this hearing, Ken, when it is convenient.
Okay, Gene, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I had sent Claire some proposed edits, not changing the substance of any of the proposed articles except one, but mostly some wording changes to make them more specific and narrower. So I can either read them out or Claire can put up my proposed revisions. They're in track changes, so you can see what they were. It's up to the board or to the chair, which you prefer.
Yeah, why don't you put them up, Gene? If you can share your screen with Gene, Claire.
I'll get them, just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So what if would people want me to walk through the proposed changes, or people want to talk about the warrant articles in general first?
Well, why don't we just everybody has a chance to read your changes. Are there any objections to these changes, or any other modifications to these that anybody any other one on the board want to make? Now's a good time. Steve.
So Mr. Lau, I'm just apparently these were sent after I checked my town email this afternoon. So if I may have a moment to catch up. Thank you.
Sure. We're just doing Article A here, okay, Steve?
And it's Rachel. I would like Steve, I'm catching up with these as well. So perhaps what we could do is just take them one by one. And Gene, if you want to highlight it, if it would work for you, if Gene would highlight what his changes are as we go through article by article, that would work for me.
They are in red right now on my screen, but they're not in red.
That's fine. So it looks to me, just to react then to Gene, to what you've proposed, that this is more specific, which I agree to and appreciate in Article A.
Yeah, the reason I made them more specific is I thought, I put this in the email to Claire, is that I thought it would be easier for town meetings who are not steeped in sort of the intricacies of the zoning bylaw to get a little more flavor of what they're about. And by narrowing the scope, it makes it sort of more specific about what this is about. So that's why I did each one of them. And I think A is pretty self-explanatory.
Steve, have you had a chance to review A?
So I am fine with the changes to A. This seems consistent with what we've discussed in previous meetings. Thank you.
Okay. Shana? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I'm also fine with the changes to A.
Do we want to vote on this one at a time as we go down, or do you want to just all at the end? Does anybody have any preference?
I think if we're going to go over them individually, I think it would make sense to vote after each.
Okay, so do I have a motion for Article A?
So moved.
Article A as amended by Jean's revisions. I second that.
Okay, can I get a vote? Shayna,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes myself. Okay, now we're on to Article B. We'll give a chance to everybody to read it. Essentially, this is just a change from certified mail to first-class mail to make it easier for proponents to offer changes to the zoning changes. And you made some changes here, Jean. You want to explain this real quick?
Again, I just put in that it's the sentence of the section and exactly what it does. So again, just more specificity.
Are there any other questions from the board? Seeing there's none, does anybody want to make a motion for Article B?
I'll move that we agree on Article B as I amended it.
Second.
Great. Had a vote now?
Sorry, I
Sorry.
was just still reading this one because I hadn't seen Jean's edits beforehand. Jean, I know that you were looking to make this one more specific. Do we think it's, well, I guess that's, never mind. I think I'm sorry. I'm just reading it for the first time, the changes. I was looking to see whether it was, if there was anything that we would be too hemmed in by, but this is a simple administrative change. So I think I'm okay with this as well.
Okay. Am I going too fast, Rachel, here, or?
No, I just hadn't, I didn't see the email because I was at work. So I'm just catching up.
Okay. So do we have a second on this?
I'll second it.
Okay. I'd like to have a vote. Shayna?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
And I'm a yes too.
And I'm a yes too.
Excuse me, Jean?
I said yes also.
Oh, sorry, Jean.
That's okay.
Maybe I'll get better as this gets along.
You'll get in your rhythm, Ken.
Yes. Okay, Article C is also, I'm assuming, it's administrative. You want to explain this, Jean?
This is just to remove the sentence that says until EOHLC approves our inclusionary zoning 15%, it's 10%. So I just made this more specific that we're removing the second sentence.
Because they have already approved it,
Yep.
our 15%. So
Yep.
that's what it, just more or less of a clarification of what happened.
So I have a question. Do we need to explain? I don't know that we need to explain the why behind it in the warrant article by adding the words "an outdated and unnecessary reference." I think that it's clear to see if the town will vote to amend Section 5.8.4G, affordable housing of the zoning bylaw, to remove the second sentence of the section or take any action related thereto. That would certainly be described as to why. Jean, I'm just questioning why we might include the other context.
It was in there. I didn't take it out. I didn't think it mattered one way or
So
the other.
are we okay to scratch that and outdated and unnecessary? And just go right to second sentence of the sentence and then reference or so forth. Are you okay with that? Can you do that, Claire?
I think that works for me, what Rachel suggested.
This is Steve. I'm also fine with that.
Me as well. This is Shayna.
All right, great. Do we have a motion for this?
So moved. Article C as amended and amended again.
Do we have
Second.
a second? Great.
This is Rachel.
Shannon,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. Article E. This
the
one
only
is,
thing I added is we had agreed from 24 to 22 feet. I thought putting it in would just explain to people just looking at the warrant article what we were doing. Again, it would be sort of make it easier for people reading the warrant and limit the scope.
this was a request from the zoning board, correct?
No, it was, no, we decided upon that, Ken.
Oh, okay. Did the zone, okay, never mind. You're right. Does anybody have any changes or any questions or?
Yeah,
any
Mr. Lau?
modifications? Yes,
I'd like to strike Mr. Benson's amendment. I actually think Melrose had a better strategy using a 20-foot drive aisle in mixed use in residential buildings and 24 feet otherwise. So we could either leave the substance out and iron it out later, but I don't agree with it with this as warrant language.
could you make a proposal then? Of what you want to put up there?
Strike the text from 24 feet to 22 feet. But leave or take any action related thereto.
I think if Steve has another proposal, then what he's proposing makes sense.
And how would people know what the changes are from what to what? Where would that be located?
That would be in the main motion.
It would be in the main motion. Okay. Does anybody have any objections to that?
No.
No.
So we're leaving in or take any action related thereto, but just for moving from 24 to 22 feet, correct?
Correct. Right,
Okay.
Steve?
Yes.
That's correct.
Can you take care of that, Claire? Do we have a motion?
So moved as amended. Article D.
Second?
I will second it.
And the vote is Shayna,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Rachel,
Yes.
and and I'm a yes too. Article E, you just have a couple of commas there, right, Jean?
just
Everything else,
just some comments.
everything else is more or less the same that we looked at before. Are there any changes to this? Does anybody on the board have any changes to this?
No.
None here.
Okay, do we have a motion for this?
So move that we adopt Article E.
Second?
Second.
Okay, vote. Shayna,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. Thank you. Now we're on Article F.
I just added the words unmarquees so that people who didn't go to the bylaw to look at 6.2.5 D6 marquee signs would understand that this is just allowing for electronic displays on marquees. So it's mostly clarity for people who are reading the warrant.
Does anybody have an objection to that or any changes? Okay, seeing none, does
No.
anybody want to make a motion?
I move we adopt Article F as amended.
Have a second here, please.
Second.
Great. I'm gonna call for a vote. Shayna,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. Now we're on to Article G. To see if the town will vote to amend A-frame signs. You had a couple of changes here, Jean. I assume they're clerical.
the change to one A-frame sign just corresponds to what we had agreed to at our last meeting. If it wasn't there, technically somebody could put an amendment to allow 5 or 6 or whatever. So this just narrows the scope. And I took out the word allowable because I thought it was unnecessary.
Are there any objections or any other changes to this from the board?
None here.
Seeing none, is there a motion here?
I move that we adopt Article G as amended.
Do I
Second.
hear a second? Okay.
Second.
Call for a vote. Shayna,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't quite.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still reviewing this. Again, I did not see the email earlier. So,
Okay,
and it's hard, A, because we're in a remote meeting, we're not normally, and I'm still reviewing as we're moving ahead. So one of the things that Katie didn't bring up when we were reviewing this was just the overall square footage review. So or that there is a maximum square footage. I'm assuming that that's something that we'll probably get into during discussion. But this definitely includes wall, window, A-frames and yard frames within this. So my question is, as we look at this, would we want any more flexibility? Is it just the A-frames that are the issue, or is it actually all of the various number of portable signs and temporary signs that we're seeing, and the quantity and the overage that the board needs to address? So would it be better, instead of A-frame, to make it portable and temporary signs, so that we can look at this more holistically? It's a question for the board.
so you're suggesting to change A-frame to temporary sign?
Portable and temporary, which
Portable
is
and
the
temporary sign.
section. But again, if the board feels that the A-frames are really the only problem, then I'm fine with Jean's suggestion. But it again, to me, it seemed I would actually change A-frame to portable and temporary, because it seems like it's part of a larger issue.
Are there any objections to that that change to Jean's correction there?
So.
well, then we would have to change the part that was initially said A-frame signs,
That's what I'm suggesting. That's correct.
right? So you'd have to change it in 2 places.
So the
So we'd
language.
probably just say limit the quantity of portable and temporary signs to be used by a business, or take any other action, is what Rachel's
Yes.
suggesting.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, we had only discussed A-frame signs, but I certainly think it would make sense for the board to have a little bigger discussion beyond that.
Jenny, you had a question?
Oh, no, I was going to ask about specific language, but I think Jean and Rachel have clarified what I was gonna ask, so I'm all set.
So
So
Rachel, you want us to take out Jean's comment where it says to one A-frame sign to say for portable signs and temporary signs in lieu of that?
No, I'm suggesting that we take out where Claire is about to highlight.
Okay.
Take that out to and to insert portable and temporary where it says A-frame signs where Claire has it highlighted, and then to remove the addition that Jean made of to one A-frame sign.
Would you be
Claire,
able to do
could
that, Claire?
I would not include to one sign because I think yeah, and then I think you could and then I would make that portable and temporary. And I think you could keep allowable where that was struck. And my feeling is I think Katie had a really good point. I think that we didn't have the opportunity to have a thorough discussion about this, and I think I'd like to give ourselves the space to do that.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Jean?
Yes, that's fine. You know, what Rachel said, we only talked about A-frame signs at the last meeting, but it makes sense to discuss the larger portable and temporary signs, which include A-frame signs.
Does anybody else has any issues or changes or requests?
Fine by me. This is Steve.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Shana. Seeing there's none, can I get a motion for the amended Article G?
Move that we adopt amended Article G.
Second,
Great. A vote is Shana,
yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. Article H.
You just made it a little more specific since we're going to put in a definition of animal daycare that we indicate that's what we're doing also.
So
Okay.
the only comment I have here, which I had before I saw Jean's comments, I would like to ensure that this language will allow us to discuss that this may only be allowed by special permit, not necessarily as of right, because I'm concerned that we'd still have the same issue that we have relative to health clubs and daycare with regard to street activation in the business district. So I think that while we may consider whether or not we put this forth to town meeting, I would also want to make sure that it's written in such a way that it could have the requirement for special permit and not just as of right in the business district.
I think it does, Rachel, because it doesn't say as of right or special permit. And I think what would go into the main motion would be either, you know, as of right or special permit. That's how I interpret it.
Jean.
Yeah.
No, I just wanted to ask the question and make sure we discuss that. Thank you.
I'm okay
Mr.
with that. There's also what you said, Rachel, about making it a special permit, not as a right. The rest of the board have any issues with that? Shana, Steve, Jean?
So I have a different wording issue, but we can come back to that.
Okay. Well, what about the by special permit? Are you okay with that, Steve?
So I'm neutral on, I think the main motion can dictate whether it's special permit or by right. So I don't feel like it's necessary to mention in the warrant language.
No, I think that's what Jean said.
Oh yeah. I'm okay with going either way.
But
So
we
that's
just
fine,
wanted,
yes.
okay. Shana?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. Steve, you said you had some wording changes?
Yes, so the way I initially read this, it sounded like the definition would go in section 5 of the bylaw, where it should actually go in section 2. So if folks are amenable, I'd suggest to see if the town will vote to amend the zoning bylaw section 2 to define animal daycare and to amend section 5 definition or district regulations to allow animal daycare in business districts.
I think that's fine. You would be adding it after section 2, comma, definitions to define animal daycare, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yes.
Are you able to make that change, Claire?
Did I get it right?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other changes or requests? Can I have a motion?
I move that we adopt Article H as amended.
Second?
Second,
Okay. Vote, Shana,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
yes.
and I'm a yes too. All right, now we got the last few more juicier ones, right? Okay, Article J, residential parking.
no, you missed I, Ken.
Aye, sorry. Yep, okay. That one there, you want to make a change, just one comma, right?
Yeah, I didn't know what Christian Klein was going to propose, so I couldn't add any specificity to this.
Claire, did we get something from Christian on this?
It's my understanding that we did not receive any direct warrant article language related to this from Christian. The DPCD wrote a general warrant article that we felt would be best described by the main motion.
I feel this is kind of vague. Does everybody else sort of agree with this? That I can't really vote on this right here. I don't know what the big change is.
I mean,
So
it
this
meets
was
the-
related to FEMA. This was
Correct.
related to the floodplain district. So if you recall, he came to us and indicated that they were having, sorry, let me get to my notes here.
Yeah, but should we have it on there, Rachel, or should we just leave it in the main motion?
Sorry, I'm getting to my notes here.
I believe he wanted to set the base height in flood zones to FEMA's flood zones. So where building
Correct.
height is taking off the average of the site at the street, he wants us to make a change so that it's based off of in flood zones, the top of the flood zone.
I don't know that section 2 would be where you would do that.
So may I make a proposal?
Please.
All right, to see if the town will vote to amend section 2 definitions and section 5.3, whatever that is, because the definition of building height references several subsections in 5.3 of the zoning bylaw to amend the definition of section, oh. Yeah, if this should mention 5.3, and I'm thinking of how to say that it pertains to building heights in essentially in the floodplain overlay district.
No longer have.
Claire, do we have to vote on all these and get them in this week or something?
Yes.
That's why we
Yes.
set the meeting.
Yes.
So if we can't come up with some sort of language, then we'll have to punt on this one here.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
Because as it shows right now, I'm not comfortable. I'm on what the rest of the board is. I understand what he was trying to get at, but it's not written out any which way where we can sort of vote on the actual language or the wording, unless we come up with something tonight.
Let me
I
take
would
one more
agree.
shot. All right, to see if the town will vote to amend section 2 of the definitions and section 5.3, we'll have to fill in the title of 5.3 of the zoning bylaw to amend the regulations for building height in the floodplain overlay district.
To amend the regulations for building height in the floodplain overlay district?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Do we still, is the floodplain overlay district still an overlay district in the zoning bylaw post town meeting last year?
We took out the inland wetland district, but the
That's right. You got it.
floodplain is still in the bylaw and still dictated by FEMA's risk maps.
Got it.
Yeah, and immediately after your cursor, strike definition of building height. And let me see what 5.3 is called.
Steve, what would you think about putting it in 5.3.20, which is maximum height exceptions? So it would say to amend the maximum height exceptions for buildings in the floodplain overlay district.
I think that's appropriate, yes. So for Claire, I think that would translate, as far as the wording goes, that would translate into changing and section 5.3 to and section 5.3.20, comma, maximum height exceptions, comma,
And then after that, it just needs to say for buildings in the floodplain overlay district.
Maximum height acceptance of the vote to amend the regulations for building height in the floodplain overlay district, you'd like to strike that and put something else?
So it would just say for buildings in the floodplain overlay district. So after, right. So, right.
oh, okay.
Let's all look at that for a moment.
Well, I'm looking at the definition of building height, which doesn't actually, it talks about detailed exceptions and ironically does not call out 5.3.20. It calls out 5.3.19 and 5.3.19A. There is only a 5.3.19A. Nothing under just 5.3.19 and 5.4.2B5, which I have not yet gone to look at. So there might be a Scrivener's error that we have to correct in the definition anyway.
Can we make this vague enough so that it can be covered in the main motion?
No, we could. I'm just wondering if in the language it should be and comma or section. I think we, again, because Christian doesn't have the specific language for us, I think to give him as much latitude as possible so that if the definition needs to be left alone or we decide that 5.3.20 is not the place that we have some latitude.
Oh. I just got a message from Marisa Lau, excuse me. Mr. Klein will be signing on.
Great.
So, Ken, can I suggest we go through the rest of the articles and then go back to I?
Sure.
Maybe Mr. Klein will be able to help.
That's a good suggestion. Now we're on Article J. This is the residential parking.
So this is one of the three articles that I suggested when we had our retreat back in October. I thought it was a little bit unclear that location of parking spaces, parking in residential districts, it didn't quite say multifamily housing overlay districts, so I thought it would just clarify those sections to include multifamily housing overlay districts in the list of the areas that it covered. So this is just for clarity. And the staff wrote the lighter red, and I added the darker red.
Maybe I'm a little bit colorblind, but I just see red.
No, it could be your computer screen.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see it now. The Claire's pointing to it. Does anybody have any changes or want to discuss anything, any part of this?
Still reading.
I think I'm okay with J.
Rachel, you look somewhat concerned about.
Sorry, that I have a visitor in my office.
Oh,
that's
okay.
why I'm communicating off screen.
That's fine. But you're okay with this, Rachel?
Yes.
Shana?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I move that we adopt Article J as amended.
Have a second?
Second.
Excellent. Have a vote. Shayna,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too. Marissa, did Kristen get on yet?
Yes, he is. He should be on.
I am here.
There
Hey,
he is.
Christian, how you
Hey,
doing?
Christian.
I'm well. Good evening to you all.
Okay. Let's go back to Article I, just so we don't. And we've been sort of going around on this a little bit, and I want to see what your feelings on this is. Have you had? Let me give you a chance to read what we have here so far, and see what you think.
So in the language I had provided earlier, I was including the exception in the definition of building height rather than in but it looks like you're adding a new section 5320.
5320, Christian, has maximum height exceptions.
Okay.
So it might I thought it might make sense rather than sort of put an exception in the definitions,
Mm-hmm.
to put the exception in the part of the bylaw itself that had the maximum height exceptions.
Okay.
And then Rachel raised the issue that the definition of building height probably needed to be fixed also.
Yeah, Christian, if you go to the definition of building height, it references 5.19 and 5.3.19 and 5.3.19a, but not 5.20 when it refers to detailed exceptions, and many of the exceptions are in 5.20.
Okay. I'm just scrolling to 5320. Ah, okay. Oh, because 5319 is reduced. Okay. Because 5320 says in any district, the maximum height limitations shall not apply to the following. And it's not that maximum height limitations don't apply. They do still apply. It's just that they have a different baseline.
So, do you have a suggestion on how you want to change this a little bit? We're just under pressure. If we don't get this in today,
Yep.
And approved, it's not going into warrant article.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think. I mean, what we had proposed before with putting building height, adding the sentence to the definition for building height, that in the floodplain district, the building height is the vertical distance of the highest point of the roof above the base flood elevation established by FEMA. Sort of seemed to be the best place to put it, because we didn't. 5320 is really about things where the maximum height doesn't apply. There didn't seem to be another place short of creating another exception location.
I mean, you could more heavily edit 5.20. I know that we've been trying to keep some of the more complex dimensional standards out of the definitions.
I mean, we could certainly redo 5320 to make it work the way that we would want to make it work if we wanted to put this exception in that location.
I mean, I would not envision a sub-item C, because that wouldn't really fit with the leading sentence, but, another would be a new paragraph in 5320. I think that could work.
Mhm. And we could certainly make the first sentence sub A, have it be parts 1 and 2 for A and B, and then have a new part B. But we would have time to figure that out.
The main motion.
So I think if you left it the way that you have it written here, section 2 definitions of section 5320 maximum height exceptions of zoning bylaw for buildings in the floodplain district. Or take I think the language you have in front of you makes sense.
So you're okay with this?
I'm okay with that language, yes.
Okay. Does the board have any other changes to this?
No.
Can I ask for a motion, please?
I move we adopt Article I as amended.
Second,
Okay, a vote. Shayna,
yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel,
Yes.
and I'm a yes too.
Great,
So
thank you all very much.
thank you. Are you going to be around for a few more?
If you'd like me to.
Should be around for K because we're doing something that affects the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Oh, okay.
If you could stick around a little bit,
Sure.
Kristen, that'd be helpful. But I think we're on J now, right? Or we did J. Did we finish J, Claire?
I believe we finished, Jay.
Okay. So we're
Yes.
on to Article K.
So what this does is it gives us jurisdiction for any construction or reconstruction in the industrial zone. Right now, we have some of the industrial zone and the ZBA has some of the industrial zone. So this switches that around.
My notes was this was more of a clerical change.
No, it's not. It's a
No?
substantive change.
And my notes were that we were not going to take it up this year from our last meeting.
Oh.
But I could, again, those were just my notes as I was reviewing them.
Does anybody else have any?
I mean, there are, for EDR, the criteria that triggers EDR, there is already a criteria based on size. I'm personally I don't feel a strong need to change the jurisdiction, but I'd be interested in hearing more about Mr. Benson's motivation for suggesting this.
My motivation for suggesting it is something came up, I think, a year or two ago where we realized that there were some projects in the industrial zone that we only had jurisdiction over because they bordered on the bikeway. And that it didn't make a lot of sense. I thought we had this discussion for part of the industrial zone to be the jurisdiction of the ZBA and part of it to be the jurisdiction of the ARB. So that's where this came from.
So my recollection was, and maybe I'm getting the specific case wrong, but it was the proposed reconstruction of a residential building on Dudley Street. Is that correct?
That happened, but I don't think that's where it came from. I mean, Rachel said we weren't going forward with it, so,
I'm going to ask the rest of the board, do they want to go forward with this and talk about this some more, or do you want to postpone this for our next round? How does the board feel?
I would kind of prefer postponing because I think this deserves a little more discussion.
Shana?
I agree with Steve.
Rachel?
I agree.
Jean?
I'm fine with that too.
Okay. So Claire, why don't we strike this?
Why don't I make a motion that we not proceed with Article K?
I'll second.
Okay. Vote? Shana?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes,
Steve?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
And I'm a yes too. This is the last one, Article L.
all right,
And that
this is,
one before was, I'm sorry, the one before was the one that we potentially need a Christian for, correct? So
right.
I want to let him go if.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Kristen. I think that's the only one we need you for. Beyond that, you're more than welcome to stay on and listen to our last one. But if you're busy, you can leave us.
I've just been notified the dinner is ready, so I will say my good night.
Enjoy, Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
You're
Thank you,
very welcome.
Christian.
Take care.
Okay, we're on Article L, and
Right.
this is to add some clarification and a small change to the multifamily development overlay.
So this is my responsibility / blame. So I'll tell you where this came from. After our last meeting, I started thinking it was a shame if we couldn't find some way to clarify the fact that we all couldn't agree about what ground floor meant and how to determine what the 60% was. So I emailed Claire and Ken and said, could planning come up with sort of a minimum square footage of continuous space that would make sense for a commercial space, and then we could layer that on to the 60% requirement so that you'd end up having to meet whichever of the two is a larger amount. So we wouldn't end up with like 335 square foot spaces or 800 square foot spaces, things like that. So what we came up with was something that said that to qualify for the bonus provision for the commercial, they must provide at least 1,700 square feet of contiguous commercial space on the ground floor, or contiguous commercial space of at least 6% of the ground floor enclosed by the building walls, which is how some of you had interpreted, whichever is larger. So if somebody had a really huge building where 60% was more than 1,700 square feet, they'd have to provide that amount. But if it was a smaller building, they would at least have to do 1,700 square feet. We had not discussed this before, but I just thought we should take another shot at finding a way out of the box that we were in interpreting the bonus provision. And this is what I came up with.
Thank you, Chief, for coming up with this. I think this is a good suggestive change. I did look at talking to some brokers and also talked to, I think we talked to Claire and
Katie, and we talked to
Katie.
Katie Lucille.
And we came up with a slightly different square footage for continuous space. We were thinking more of 1,200 square feet, just because of the small footprints we have throughout town. The 17 is too much of an ask to make that happen. It would just actually basically eliminate that as a bonus for some of these smaller projects. But we still, on the larger sites, we still maintain that 60%. So I think what you said there, whichever is greater. So that would be my suggestion for the change from the 17 to the 1200, and it will align with some of the brokers and community planning. Rachel, what do you think about that?
I'm uncomfortable with putting a specific number here because I would want to do more of an assessment. This should be a hard provision to achieve. This is something that, you know, we put in as a meaningful contribution to the commercial space. So, you know, I think to Jean's perspective, but you know, both the affordable housing threshold, I believe, needs to be it is a substantial commitment, and I know that I feel differently than several of the rest of you, that I think it's actually a higher threshold as set in the words that were approved at town meeting. And I think this one as well needs to be a meaningful threshold. So I would need to do some math and to take a look at what this would need to be. I'm uncomfortable with putting the number 1,700 or 1,200. I'm leaning towards a larger, but I can't commit to a number tonight. So I think we'd either need to leave this out, or we would need to write it in such a way that gives us a little bit of latitude here.
Thank you, Rachel. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, when we were, you know, when we were working on the multifamily zoning, we did a number of surveys, a whole pile of outreach, and, you know, asked a bunch of questions, you know, to see what folks in Arlington wanted to kind of achieve as secondary goals. If we're going to make this multifamily district, what else should we try to do? And there were three things that sort of surfaced from that. People were interested in sustainability, they were interested in affordable housing, and they were interested in commercial vitality. The bonus provisions were directly, you know, came directly out of those desires. Incidentally, these are things that people have been mentioning during the comprehensive planning process. So I don't think sentiment has really changed. Now, the bonuses, it's not just a bonus for the person doing the project. It is also a bonus in the sense that the community gets what it wants, or gets something that people have expressed a desire for. So while, you know, I understand the desire to make it, you know, a meaningful contribution, it has to be, I think it has to be an achievable one. So I would caution against trying to make it too, you know, it has to be achievable. I'd caution against trying to make it too strict, because at this point, you know, I feel concerned about putting in a bonus requirement that's, you know, someone actually can't use. I do agree with the chair that, or I agree with Ms. Zemberry that with the idea of leaving the square footage out, you know, instead of providing a minimum square footage of contiguous space, I think that would be appropriate. But yeah.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
As an aside, I was going to talk about this in new business, but I'll mention it again here. I'll just sneak it in here. Cambridge recently did a planning study and some revisions for districts along Mass Ave, and they incorporated something that's very similar to, you know, the mixed use bonus in our multifamily district. So they call it, you know, residential with ground story active uses. But their requirement is 60% of the interior space within 50 feet of a main roadway. So I really think that the 60% of the interior space is, you know, Cambridge's CDD, they're a well-resourced department, they're thorough, they're bright, and, you know, they have a good track record with getting commercial projects.
Thank you, Steve. Shayna, do you want to have your input here?
Sure. I do think the 1,700 square feet is concerning to me for a number of reasons, but most notably because I'm not sure it's going to be achievable in many of the projects we see, as the chair alluded to. I don't know that 1,200, you know, what the magic number is, I don't know, and I think I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable putting in a particular number this evening. I think I want to hear more and research more before settling on a particular number. So at the very least, I think we need to leave more flexibility. I have been concerned for some time that the 60% was not, the 60% that was already in there was not necessarily achievable for many projects, and so to make it more onerous or more burdensome is not a direction that I would want to go in.
All right, thank you.
If I could make a suggestion, Mr. Chair,
Sure, Gene.
I suggest that we not go ahead with Article L. I think there are too many unknowns and sort of the same sort of disagreements that we had when we first tried to determine what this meant. This was my sort of best attempt to sort of bridge the gap, and it wasn't, I think, a successful attempt. So my suggestion is that we don't do Article L, and that the board spend some time this summer or this fall trying to figure out if there's a different way to achieve the ends that people want.
I would agree with Jean's suggestion.
Okay, Steve?
I also agree.
Shayna?
Yes, I do as well.
Okay, can I hear a motion, please?
So I move that we reject Article L and not go
Second.
forward with it.
Shayna?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I'm a yes too. Okay. So we will postpone this and for further research and discussion. Okay, that takes care of this. So now we are give me a minute here. Okay. So now we finished item number 4. We can go to open forum. If anybody wishes to speak in open forum, please raise your hand on
Ken, I'm sorry to interrupt. Before we go, do we need to vote to submit the articles as approved tonight to the town warrant, to the 2026 spring town meeting town warrant? Jean, I believe we've used that specific language in the past.
Okay, I thought we had done that and we were just doing it individually, but we can do it.
I don't think that we were specific about that when we made the initial motion to move it forward, and I think for the record it would be helpful. Sorry for the interruption.
No, I appreciate it, and I need the help all the help I can get.
Team effort.
So do we have a motion to you want to say this, Rachel?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion to move the articles as approved this evening forward to the warrant for spring 2026 town meeting.
Second,
Okay, and Shayna,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jean,
yes.
Yes,
Rachel.
thank
Okay,
you.
and I'm a yes too. Thank you for that, Rachel. So we'll move on to open forum. And if anybody likes to speak, please raise your hand on the reactions. There's a hand raise portion, and I will call you as I see it. And please keep your comments to about 3 minutes. And okay, anybody? Joanne Collins?
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, it's Joanne Cullinan. I'm a town meeting member, precinct 21. I just wanted to say that we have bonus floor requirements in our existing bylaws as amended in October 2023. And reading them, they state that 60% of the ground floor at street level and 80% of the streetscape must be occupied by a commercial establishment to get the commercial bonus. The annotated warrant from that special town meeting reads the same as the finalized language that was voted on, as far as I can tell. I can't find any mention in either document of gross floor area or ground floor area enclosed by the building walls. Our bylaws passed ensures that as the size of the proposed building gets larger, the size of the commercial space required to get that bonus gets proportionally larger. And I believe that speaks to the letter and the intent of the law as passed. A square foot minimum, in my view, can't override the 60 foot of ground floor at street level that was voted upon in 2023. I feel we should propose a minimum square footage or 60% of ground floor area, whichever is larger. However, 60% of the ground floor area of 126 Broadway is 2,040 square feet, and of 259 Broadway is 1,759 square feet, and those lots are very small. So to me, the 1,700, I agree with Rachel Zembury very wholeheartely that in order to achieve what the bonuses are meant to achieve, that we should think about that figure carefully. And I do believe that was the intent, that this is a very high bar, and bonuses it's not something we need to award on every lot, particularly smaller lots where the businesses wouldn't make sense. So I just feel strongly that we need to calculate 60% of the actual ground floor at street level as written into the bylaw currently, and consider what we might need to do to get businesses of the type that we consistently hear people saying we need in this town, which are not small storefronts, but more substantially sized ones that are more viable. Thank you.
Thank you. Aaron?
Aram Holman, can you hear me? Aram Holman, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. I'm basically in agreement with the last commenter. I think that should be a fairly high bar in order to give an entire floor. I think there should be a minimum floor area like you described. I am concerned that either for ground floor parking below apartments will lower that to an unreasonable amount. I would also like not only a minimum for total floor space, but a minimum on the size of the individual shops. If you look in Arlington Center, you will see that at any given time, there are anywhere from a half a dozen to a dozen shops that are vacant, and a lot of them are what I will call shoebox shops. They're very narrow and they're long, they're minimal space. I'm concerned that if you put in some very small spaces, the businesses there will not be viable. And I don't want people playing games by having them fail, by having small spaces. So again, I would like a minimum square footage, the greater of minimum square footage or the 60% ground floor. I'm not sure how you can allow for parking if that ground parking, if that shrinks the first floor. But I would like a minimum size and also minimum size on individual shops. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more hands up, I will close open forum and we'll go to new business. Claire, is there any new? Oh, Jean?
Well, you can let Claire go first. I'll go after.
I do have an item of new business. Last month, in December, I believe it was December 22nd, we received our final AG approval for our the zoning amendments that were made at the previous town meeting last spring. The new zoning bylaw is up to date now and is ready to be downloaded by folks who are interested, and if you print it out, then now is the time. All changes have been made and the zoning bylaw has been updated to reflect the AG's response to zoning warrant articles from last spring.
Thank you, Claire. Anything else, Claire?
Nothing at this time. Thank you.
All right. Jean?
So I thought this was going to be my last meeting on the board because my term is over, except that the rule says that until there's a replacement, I can stay on the board. So unless you all think it's a really bad idea, I'd like to attend as a member on the meeting of February 2nd and 9th, because Claire told me that the earliest we could have a replacement would be for the last meeting in February, but I'm not staying beyond the 9th. So I will give my official goodbyes on February 9th.
Thank you, Jean, for your hard service. Steve?
Yes, two brief things. One is I was wondering, Claire, if staff has heard anything about any rumblings about 78 Bow Street.
I have not, but that doesn't mean others on the staff has. If we have any information on that, Steve, I'm happy to share it out with you, but I have not.
Yeah, my reason for asking, 78 Bow Street is a parcel with industrial zoning of about 19,000 square feet. Taylor Rental currently occupies the site. The property just changed hands for $1.5 million. And so I was wondering if someone had started a conversation, but I guess not. Second brief item of new business is I've talked about Cambridge's Mass Ave planning study in new business a couple of times. Their city council adopted it towards the end of December. And I just, there are some cool things in here, and I think what Cambridge has been trying to do in terms of revitalizing Mass Ave between Harvard Square and through the Alewife Brook Parkway is not too different from what we've been talking about as far as revitalizing corridors. Sure, it's Cambridge; it's going to be a different scale, but I think there's a number of good ideas, worth considering. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll just say I know that Gene had asked us all the question. I'm really appreciative of his willingness to serve for another two meetings. So thank you, Gene. And it'll be nice to see you in person and not say goodbye and thank you remotely.
Yep. Thank you, Rachel.
We can always go next door for a drink in your last day too. It seems to be a customary. A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. Shana,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rachel?
Yes.
I am a yes too. So meeting's adjourned.